this lovely listener is asking us if Spider-Verse 3 could join the $1 billion club. Let's check it out.
Hey, John and crew, this is Keith from Chicago. I was calling to talk about Spider-Verse. The first Into the Spider-Verse movie made $385 million, and Across the Spider-Verse made $663 million. They were both nominated for Best Animated Picture at the Oscars, so with all that buzz and with the upward trajectory, do you think that maybe the next one can make $1 billion at the box office and maybe even get another nomination? Let us know your thoughts. Thank you.
Thanks, Keith, for sending that in. We appreciate it. So the big question here, can Spider-Verse, the third installment of it, make that billion? All the noises.
All the noises.
Can it make the $1 billion club? And as Keith astutely pointed out here, too, these movies have been doubling their box office revenue. We started around that 380 mark. We jumped up to 663, I believe, from our global box office with Across. So could this next movie cross that 900 echelon and make it to the $1 billion club? It would be in very elite company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? It's going to make more than this last film for sure.
Yeah.
$1 billion? It's hard to tell.
Yeah, the question is, has it found all of its new viewers, or because then they probably go on and tell their friends or whatever, and then it also depends on repeat. Ultimately, is the story good? Is it as good as part 1 and part 2? Because then part 2 was even better than part 1, I felt like. So if the story is more compelling, and then again, just the word of mouth. Does it have enough draw now? Are people like, oh yes, part 3 is coming out, we can't wait? $1 billion is hard. I mean, we can look here, Chris. You got the top 11 $1 billion films. I mean, The Lion King and Frozen 2 there made a big leap.
Still confused about The Lion King.
But I am actually surprised that Zootopia was $1 billion. I didn't think it had that much hype, but apparently.
Oh, yeah, Zootopia was huge.
I loved it.
That
I'm not
one
knocking
blew
it,
up.
but
Yeah. But we've got Zootopia, Finding Dory, Despicable Me 3, Toy Story 3, Toy Story 4, Minions, Incredibles 2, Frozen, the Super Mario Brothers movie, Frozen 2, and then still king of this list, The Lion King.
Yeah.
The one by Jon Favreau, though, we should point out, not the one from the 90s, both considered animated films. So it is a
and we
big
see it
stretch.
number 28. So look, that means it's got to go from this last one that made $690 million, the 28th spot. It needs to jump up to the 11th spot.
What did this last one make?
About 600 and...
Yeah, I just had it here. It was
690.
I'm going to say this. If this third film is better than the previous two, it deserves to make $1 billion. But I'm going to possibly put it at 800.
I honestly, I'm like, if it gets 900, that's great. But I'm like 850.
Because we knew a couple people who actually watched the film and then went back and watched it right after. They enjoyed this last film that much. I mean, you had multiple viewings, right?
I went multiple times.
Even though I felt like watching it more times, I've only watched it once. So maybe this third film, which is supposed to wrap up the whole story, if it ends in such a fantastic way, we could get a lot of those multiple viewers going back and seeing this film and bringing it. But I don't think it's going to hit $1 billion. I just don't. It just doesn't feel, even with like the no Marvel movies, only one releasing next year. I hope it does, but
see, that's why I think it will. I think the box office is so just dry next year. We have so few movies coming out that people are going to be seeing movies, good movies, multiple times. I do think we can at least expect it to double since we had that before, right? So that $900 mark, I think, is something feasible here. But because of what we have coming into the box office, I could see it doing really well.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. On average, it takes about 30 days for a person to break their New Year's resolution. So if saving money was on your 2024 list, your odds aren't looking that great. Luckily, I have a 100% guaranteed way to save you money this year. Just switch to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month. I've told you guys many times that after switching to Mint Mobile, I am spending less than a third on my cell bill than I used to with a major carrier. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. All Mint plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And don't worry about having to change phones or numbers. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So guys, to get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bills to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
That being said, though, hanging out with Amy Newman this week.
Oh,
let her know that you said happy birthday.
Amy.
We were talking when we were doing a podcast together about just how, for her, the first Spider-Verse movie was practically perfect. And the second one for her felt overstuffed and had so many people in it, and it didn't have a satisfying conclusion for her. Some other people I know felt that way too. So you might have some people who go, yeah, I want to know that conclusion, but will it satisfy me like that first film did? So it is a pretty mixed bag.
I feel the same way that she does, but I did love the music more in the second film than I did in the first. I thought the soundtrack was way better with Metro Boomin behind that thing. It's such a good soundtrack.
I just felt too what they did with the animation. It was another step up, and the first one was great, and this was a even bigger step up.
Yeah.
And the ball's just gonna keep rolling for this film. Like after the first one, which is what made 400.
It was
400
3 something
or 3 something. Word of mouth, and then maybe
384.
word of mouth from this last film gets it more.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Well, that first Spider-Verse movie really, too, found its footing once it was on streaming. That's when a lot of people discovered it.
Obviously a lot of because it was only $380 that a lot of people didn't go see it. I was like, this is so good.
Yeah.
We won't have any
So they
Spider.
they definitely brought their friends for part 2.
Yeah.
And we won't have any Spider-Man films, like at least with that character next year either. So
Yeah, we're not
people
seeing
love
Tom
Spider-Man.
pop up.
People come out for Spider-Man.
For sure they
Anything
do.
Spider-Man related, except what's coming up, Madam Web?
Madam Web.
Well, there's no Spider-Man.
There's
in
no
it, so-
Spider-Man in it.
There is
yeah.
a Spider-Man.
Well, he's something. I don't know what he is.
He's not Spider-Man.
Well, let's say that. Let's ask one more
Spider
question.
assassin
Yeah.
or something.
Like Madam Web, if these become like box office duds, will it affect this movie? I don't think it would, right?
No.
It kind of stands on its
I feel
own.
like those are
Yeah.
independent. I don't even think people associate
no.
the two. Half the people probably don't even realize that one's Sony, one isn't. That's number one. Just general audiences.
I think,
mean,
yeah,
not
outside of
like-
our bubble.
Not like saying our bubble or whatever, but
Yeah.
half the audiences, and they're not going to be like, well, Sony put this out, but then this one, so I'm not going to go see this Sony produce. They hold these in 2 separate realms.
For sure.
So.
Well, and I feel like some of those other movies too, right, are also, it's so many of the tertiary characters, right? Because we've talked about before those original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, right? Amazing Spider-Man 1, the Sony PlayStation game, which is one of the best Spider-Man stories ever.
Right.
Like those things I think are all really firing on all cylinders. And I feel like, the Morbiuses, the Madam Webs, which I still need to see till I can actually judge it. Same with Craven. But I feel like these, because they are the rogues gallery, but also not necessarily wildly mainstream characters to most general audiences. I feel like there is that kind of separation.
Okay.
But that also might be, again, in my little comic book LA bubble.
Yeah, let's just hope they don't rush to the finish line on this one. I mean, let's take
Yeah.
care of this third film.
Well, take care of the
Make
art.
sure it's right.
And
Take care of the artists too, because
Yeah,
they
take
were.
care of the artist.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, guys, question is for you. Do you think Spider-Verse 3, I should say, is going to make it into that $1 billion club? Let us know your thoughts.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.